going to make us all more prosperous.
The showdown in Congress over the so-called beautiful bill ramps up this morning as the next round of voting gets started. We'll take a look at the final hurdles and the mad dash to get the budget package passed. Plus,
we're still very much in an active, active fire environment up there.
Nearly 20 structures, including family homes, lost to the Bear Creek fire burning near Healy. How the borough and state are working to help those who've lost everything. And later, one of America's favorite telescopes makes a discovery that's out of this solar system. NASA's James Webb Telescope discovers its first exoplanet. We'll take a look at that as the morning edition starts now. Good Monday morning, everyone. Thanks for waking up with us today. We love the James Webb Space Telescope, and it's found its first planet. So
yeah, it makes you wonder
congrats.
what else we're going to be able to uncover as the telescope continues to look into the space and far beyond. Waking up this morning, we're still holding on to some of those spotty to isolated showers across South Central. Now, we did see a fairly nice weekend. Rain did grip parts of South Central. Not everyone saw that rainfall potential. And this morning, we're still holding on to at least some of those showers. And we're still going to continue to favor cloudier conditions as we start off your work week across the region. Temperature starting off this morning, 55 degrees. We do have some breezy conditions with winds gusting up to 25 miles per hour out of the south-southeast. We are going to see a warming trend take hold this week. Across the state, really going to see some of the greatest warming taking place through the interior. But we're waking up this morning to 40s and 50s across South Central, favoring eastern parts of South Central, where we're going to see most of the rain that's going to gradually taper off this morning. And of course, we do have some spotty to isolated showers occurring through the Matanuska Valley this morning. Elsewhere, though, we are on the dry side, but we can't rule out a spot shower or two as we continue to progress through the morning hours. So there's our chance for some rain that we're dealing with as we start off your Monday. Heaviest activity, though, is out towards southwest Alaska. This is where heavy rain through tomorrow morning could top out near 2 inches in some spots, really favoring the Kuskokwim Delta region, where we could see anywhere from about 1.5 to nearly 3 inches of rainfall when all is said and done. So that heavy rainfall continuing to grip southwest Alaska, while here in South Central, we can't rule out some showery weather, but largely expecting some drier weather beyond today. We are going to warm back into the low to mid 60s. Limited sunshine expected today, and there's that spot chance that we could see some showers in the forecast. And of course, today does start that warming trend. You can see topping out near 80 degrees through the interior, even warmer here over the next couple of days. We're also talking about areas of the slope topping out in the upper 50s and 60s. I'll have more on that in that 7-day forecast coming up.
In today's top story, some say it'll be devastating. Others believe it'll be prosperous for the whole country. Anchorage residents taking to the streets once again over the weekend in protest of President Trump's big, beautiful bill. Sign waivers were out on the corner of Northern Lights and the Seward Highway. Some reading, "The only kings we want are salmon," and others signs encouraging Alaskans to contact the state's U.S. senators as the next round of voting gets underway this morning. President Trump wants to sign his sweeping domestic policy legislation by Independence Day on Friday. Most Republican lawmakers are rushing to try to oblige him, but they keep facing delays in the Senate. First, Democrats forced a reading of the bill that took nearly 16 hours over the weekend. Then they debated it for 10 hours. Amy Healy reports on why the next floor vote could be close.
By no means is this bill final.
The fate of President Donald Trump's budget bill remains uncertain ahead of today's vote-a-rama in the Senate. Democrats are united in opposition.
A handful of billionaires get a big break, while working people lose their Medicaid, while hungry kids lose access to food funding.
Most Republicans are united in support of the bill.
We have before us today a once-in-a-generation opportunity to deliver legislation to create a safer, stronger, and more prosperous America.
But if more than 3 Republicans oppose the measure, it's likely to fail. Senator Tom Tillis says he'll vote no and retire at the end of his term.
What do I tell 663,000 people in 2 years or 3 years when President Trump breaks his promise by pushing them off of Medicaid because the funding's not there?
Senator Rand Paul says he voted no to a procedural measure because he thinks the bill would add trillions to the deficit.
That doesn't sound at all conservative to me.
Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski wants carve-outs for her state. Maine Senator Susan Collins is signaling she'll propose an amendment. And Senator Josh Hawley says he'll vote yes, but
we can't be cutting health care for working people and for poor people in order to constantly give special tax treatment to corporations.
I'm Mimi Kiley reporting.
Democrats emphasized the bill would extend 2017 income tax breaks for millionaires and billionaires. And since the cuts are based on percentages, the wealthiest Americans stand to save the most money. But the cuts also apply to people in other tax brackets. They just can't reap as much benefit because they don't earn as much money to begin with, according to an analysis from the Tax Policy Center. Americans in the lowest tax bracket don't benefit at all from the cuts. Here at home, 18 structures are confirmed to have burned in the Bear Creek fire near Healy so far, and that number could go up. Buildings have also burned in the St. George Creek fire, but there's no estimate yet on how many. That's according to the Denali Borough mayor. He says of the 18 buildings burned in the Bear Creek fire, 6 of those were primary residences, 9 were outbuildings, and 3 are structures with livable space.
We really feel for folks. It's been a trying experience for the folks who have unfortunately lost quite a bit, lost possessions, lost their primary residence, lost equipment. It's been trying for the folks who have evacuated.
The borough has been working on contacting people who have buildings that have burned. While moisture has helped reduce fire activity some, Mayor Knoll says the fire is still at 0% contained. Resources have been focused on securing structures that haven't yet been impacted and targeting hotspots, also putting in a dozer line to keep the fire from moving north. The mayor said the borough has declared a local disaster and the governor has declared a state disaster, which opens opportunities for individual assistance. In Fairbanks, the borough's mayor is saying no to fireworks. This comes just days before the 4th of July holiday because of the fire danger. The borough says the mayor is prohibiting anyone from using fireworks in the Fairbanks North Star borough within areas outside Fairbanks and North Pole cities. The ban is effective until further notice. It is always a good idea to check the restrictions in your local area before using fireworks. The body of a missing kayaker was recovered from the Chena River Sunday evening, according to the Fairbanks Police Department. According to FPD, 24-year-old Christian Diaz, an American service member, was kayaking with 3 other friends Friday when his kayak overturned. They say he was not wearing a life jacket. His body was found Sunday near the Pioneer Park boat launch. Diaz was stationed at an airbase in Korea, but FPD says he was training at Eielson Air Force Base. Tiny homes to house the homeless. Anchorage officials say they'll use opioid settlement money to fund a pilot project to build tiny living quarters called micro units. Potential builders toured a city-owned lot near Elmore and Tudor, where the units will likely be built. The plan is to put in 16 to 30 micro units, similar to ones used in a program run by Central Lutheran Church called In Our Backyard. A special assistant to the mayor says the units will house homeless people undergoing treatment for substance abuse, but could one day be used for something else.
So that's part of the purpose of the project, is to show that units can be constructed in a way that they actually also could be easily moved. So at the end of the project, we might have 3 partners who are like, hey, we'd like to have 8 of those units each, and then we'd be able to move them to other sites.
The city is looking for someone to build the units and says it'll soon put out a request for proposals for an organization to run the project. The plan is to have it up and running by October. An Anchorage official is hoping to tackle food insecurity with a new tax incentive. Joe Allgood spoke with the assemblyman behind the effort to learn more about his plan to ensure everyone has access to food.
When the cars on Gamble behind me closed down, it not only left behind loyal shoppers, but it also created a food desert. Now, whether or not you know what that is, there are some folks in Anchorage who are trying to fix it.
Well, Anchorage is one of the most food insecure places in the United States of America.
Anchorage Assemblymember George Martinez says he grew up in a neighborhood where there was no easy access to supermarkets or grocery stores, also known as a food desert.
If you're getting, how many meals do you get from a gas station a week? If that question is in your realm of conversation, then you may live in a food desert.
Now Martinez is trying to build oases in the food deserts of Anchorage by encouraging gardening, urban agriculture, and permaculture. In a state so reliant on food imports from the rest of the country,
that food security is critical to everybody.
Martinez has proposed a tax incentive, which, if passed, could allow qualified property owners up to a 50% exemption on property taxes, and up to 60% in places deemed food deserts.
It's about our resiliency and our ability to withstand a shock to the system of our own food supply.
Such a shock to the supply during 2020 is what spurred Anchor Gardens to begin.
We knew that we were really food vulnerable. So we started this organization to really lower the barrier to entry on growing local food.
With 2 community gardens and an estimated 500 gardens impacted, they think such an incentive would grow gardening even more.
I think there will be a lot of interest.
And it's not just for the plants either.
There's a relationship between the land and the people.
You can turn it into something productive that not only produces food, but it also brings your neighbors together.
AO 2025-62 still has a few steps in its way through the Assembly, including an economic impact report that will be presented at the next regular Assembly meeting. Joe Allgood, Alaska's news source.
More than 8 months out from Iditarod 54, and there's already some solid competition after the first day of signups. We'll break down who's new, who's returning, and hear from a former champion after this.
We do have a warming pattern take hold this week across the state. I'll let you know how warm we'll get here in South Central, as well as a chance for some rain. But first, at sunrise, 427 in Anchorage, 354 in Juneau. Your full forecast is next.
Welcome back on this Monday morning. We're taking a check of Brooks Falls at Katmai National Forest. Looks like there might be a bear off in the distance. I don't know, Aaron. What do you think?
We're losing some of that camera focus, but probably just doesn't want to watch us eat this morning. A little shy there when it comes to eating its breakfast. But we are waking up with some rain showers across South Central, some heavier activity as you head out towards Southwest Alaska. We do have some cloudy skies to start off the work week across South Central. We will see the return to some sunshine throughout the week. And of course, one thing we're watching is that warming trend that's taking hold once again this week. We're talking about temperatures warming back into the 80s through the interior. That's going to continue to lead to additional fuels drying out, and we'll likely see wildfire activity ramp up this week across the state. Waking up this morning, 48 in Dead Horse, 51 degrees in Kotzebue, 54 in Fairbanks. Cloudy conditions gripping the southern coastline, and we've got some of that heavier rain that continues to impact areas of southwest Alaska, and that's where we're going to see some of the heaviest activity the next couple of days. Now, we're still seeing that area of low pressure out towards southeast Alaska. That is where we're going to see some of the heavier rainfall today for locations south of Juneau, where we could see the potential for up to an inch of rainfall into the evening. But of course, the next couple of days, we're really going to favor southwest Alaska, where we're going to see some of the heaviest rain that's going to build into the region. We've got an area of low pressure that's pulling out of Russia and pushing across the Bering. You can see the flow coming in on the front side of that low pressure system, pulling in out of the southeast. So we've got ample opportunities for moisture as well as warmth that's going to build into southwest Alaska. So be prepared for some of that heavier activity that's going to stick around through today. It's going to linger through the night and then gradually taper off through the day tomorrow. So some heavy rainfall gripping southwest Alaska, the Alaska Peninsula, and down through the eastern Aleutians, where we're going to favor some of the heaviest rainfall through at least the middle of the week. Meanwhile, here across South Central, outside of some of those morning showers that we do have today, will largely trend on the dry side the next couple of days. In fact, a good portion of this week will provide some drier weather for South Central, and we will see some sunshine breaks in the forecast. With that said, we could still see some spotty to isolated showers today. Of course, the better potential will be out towards Prince William Sound. Elsewhere, we can't rule out a spotty to isolated showers like we're seeing this morning out towards Palmer. We are going to see just that spot chance sticking around. Temperatures warming low to mid 60s. Later this afternoon, some sunshine breaks will be possible. Overall, we're going to hold on to mostly cloudy to overcast skies across South Central. 50s and 60s across the Kenai and Kodiak. And again, some peaks of sunshine looking possible throughout the day. today. Best chance of rain will be through Prince William Sound. This is where we'll see temperatures likely nosing their way near 60. Some light breeze to be expected, 66 in Golcana. The valley seeing some of those light AM showers. We've still got that flood advisory out towards the Matanuska River and Butte, where we've seen some of the bank erosion as well as those rising waters due to snow melt and that warmth that we did see earlier in this month. 62 in Anchorage today, 63 in Girdwood. Fairly calm for the most part outside of that chance for some showers. And then through the rest of the week, you can see a slow but gradual warming trend. We're back in the mid-60s as we close out this week, as we welcome in July 4th, 66 degrees. And you can see this weekend shaping up to be nice with highs in the upper 60s. And we may see partly cloudy to partly sunny conditions as we welcome in this weekend.
Now 250 days away from the start of Iditarod 54, the last great race, Jordan Rodenberger walks us through the first day of signups for the 1,000-mile trek.
Well, for as many obstacles that mushers face along the Iditarod Trail, they may face as many just trying to get to the starting line. Several got a big step out the way here at sign-up day. Rookies taking on the trail for the first time.
I guess, it's been something I've been working towards pretty much every day for, since 2019, pretty much. So yeah, honestly, at this point, it feels really good.
And veteran mushers and athletes signing up for another round.
I just wanted to prove to the world their capabilities and how great of dogs that we have. And now that we've done that, we can just go out here and have some fun. This is Miss Y. She ran the entire Iditarod last year in the lead. So she's just super intelligent and super hardworking and just, I don't know, we just have such a connection and I'm just so proud of her.
Also at sign-up day, junior mushers who hope to one day race with the big dogs.
It's really cool, especially thinking about doing Iditarod when my brother and I get older, and we can definitely learn a lot from the people who were around. So,
Yeah, we have a lot of respect for a lot of those, very good mushers, and it's really cool to be, just be right next to them in the group.
Around 20 mushers have signed up either online or in person as preparations for Iditarod 2026 are well underway. Jordan Rodenberger, Alaska's news source.
Six top 10 finishes and a win in last year's race. Jesse Holmes making his presence known in Wasilla. He'll be returning to the trail once again. The Alabama-born TV star turned Nenana dog sledder is set to compete in his 9th straight run in 2026. Now, while he said he's coming into it looking to defend his current crown, Saturday's signups, Holmes says, provide more than just a peek at competition.
I love always coming down here to Wasilla, to the Iditarod headquarters for sign up, because you get an awesome opportunity to socialize with all the other mushers and to thank the invaluable volunteers and all the people that help put on this race. And it really feels good to come and sign up in person for my 9th year in a row.
Nearly a decade and 10,000 miles spent on the Iditarod Trail, something Holmes has managed to do despite major setbacks. Holmes was injured by falling debris in 2022 while volunteering in Golovin. Now almost 3 years removed from it, Holmes says this is the best he's felt since. Happy, healthy, and now joined by a list of teams ready to challenge him in March. So far, Holmes is one of 22 other mushers that have signed on for the 54th Iditarod, 2 of which are also past champions. Ryan Reddington from 2023. He finished 8th last year. And for the first time since his victory in 2020, Norway's Thomas Varner will tackle the trail again. So already some solid competitors getting their name on the docket early. The 54th Iditarod begins March 7th, 2026. Now, there are a few notable absences so far. Both Mitch and Dallas Seavey, for example, have yet to share their intentions on running this year. Of course, this is still just the first few days of the signups opening. We'll keep you posted on any updates or notable changes to the musher pool on our website.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically and stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.